I'm gonna give you 6 exercises that you can utilize to improve your strength and your mobility, and we're gonna start right now. So when we're working with meathead athletes, a lot of meatheads, they don't like to do mobility work. So what ends up happening is they come into the gym, they train really hard, and then afterwards they don't do any recovery, they're not stretching, they're not doing yoga, maybe they don't even like to do meditation, they don't like to do anything extra to try and improve how limber they're gonna be, to try and improve their joint integrity. And I know this because that was me. That was me as a shot putter. That was me as an elite athlete, as elite as I was. That was my biggest issue. I love to lift weights. I love to get stronger. I love to do all the meathead stuff to just go in and grind. But when it came down to me actually improving my mobility, I hated it, and I still hate it. I still struggle with this, right? So I think one of the big factors here is that we've got to pick and choose. And as a coach, if you can recognize that in specific athletes, what you can then do is you can try to force your athletes to do mobility work inside of their actual strength regimen. And so that's what we're gonna do right here, is we're gonna give you some of those best exercises that I've utilized personally, that I've utilized as a coach when I'm dealing with different meatheads who don't like to hold various positions, that don't like to improve their overall joint integrity. And so we've got to think about, where are those problem areas going to be? Almost always we're going to see that in the thoracic spine, we're going to see that in the lower back, we're going to see that in our ankle joints. So we got to think about if we can trigger an improvement through those different ranges, through those different joints, that's where we want to see those exercises to be focused on. So that's going to take us into that first big movement in this workout when we're trying to train mobility and strength, is that's going to be the close grip snatch. And there's a big factor here. I like to put technical coordination movements right in the beginning. So number one, this is going to be technically a difficult movement. You've got to be explosive, you have to absorb force, and you have to hold really tight positions. Now I'm going to demonstrate. I have not warmed up. I just got back from taking my vehicle to get inspected. I haven't done any warm-ups. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you with the close grip snatch how tight I am, and by the time I get to 50, 60, 70 kilos, how much more mobile I will be. So when we're doing the close grip snatch, I want to set up with around a clean grip, maybe slightly wider, okay? So I might be here, holy crap, I'm really tight. Here, just nice and easy. Oh! I'll do 2 to 3 snatches, okay? One more, and I like to get a little pause in the hole. Okay, so you can see how tight I am in my shoulders, lower back. I can feel the pump already. And so now we're gonna increase some load. And as I get to around 50, 70, 80K, I'm gonna start to really wake up. That's gonna help me feel stronger. And then that's gonna carry me through the rest of my workout. Ooh. Oh, here's where you can see as that load, I wanna pause a little. And that's another big thing with mobility when you're trying to improve your overall strength, is I'm trying to get that rate of force production pretty high, right? But on top of that, when I'm stiff, I like to do that isometric actions in different positions. That's what I'm doing in the hole here. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, so now we're at 70 kilos. The last snatch at 50K, I started to wake up a little bit more in my upper back, so I wasn't as forward. And I think when we're talking about close grip snatches, okay, start with the bar. Do a lot of reps with the bar. Feel out those positions, especially if we're really tight in our upper back and our pecs are super tight. A lot of football players, a lot of shot putters, a lot of guys, even some wrestlers, because they're always sort of hunched over, field hockey, women, they tend to be super internally rotated. Utilize that close grip snatch because it's a longer pull, okay? And you've got to get a little bit deeper in the hole. So it's a great exercise, but it's also challenging. So make sure you just do the bar for 5 to 7 reps or 5 to 7 sets, and that's going to help you feel a little bit better. So, oh, I can already feel my back waking up a little bit. 70 kilos. Here we go. Oh, one more. That's pretty good. Oh, yeah. Now I'm gonna feel better. I'm gonna head into that next key exercise that I'm gonna utilize to improve my mobility and increase my strength. Okay, so we did the technical coordination with the close grip snatch. That helps us be more mobile wake up your nervous system, start to heighten everything, start to feel a little bit more pop, start to feel a little more aggressive. And so that's gonna take us into that next key exercise that I like to utilize to improve my strength and my mobility. And that is going to be a double bounce front squat. Okay, so double bounce front squat. If you can't front squat with that clean rack, I put our sweet garage strength wrist straps available at garagestrength.com that you can purchase. So I'm going to show you how you can use them. You can do an old school bodybuilder front squat position. You can do a zombie squat, but I want to do a double bounce. And what that double bounce is going to do, it's going to light up my entire body in the hole. So it's going to go one, a little quarter bounce, come back up, bounce, back up. And the thing is that as you do that second bounce, you start to open up and your body's hitting better positions and you're a little bit more mobile, you're a little bit more upright, and it's essentially training your body where your body wants to be. So that's why I love to use the double bounce. Okay, so here we go. Okay. I'm gonna do 3 to 4 sets, try and really build up some more strength. I'm gonna go up to 100 kilos. I'm gonna feel nice and strong, nice and mobile, nice and limber, while drastically improving my trunk coordination and also improving my mobility. So that's a big factor here. We wanna increase our strength and increase our mobility so that we can hold better positions as we increase our overall performance. Okay, so third key exercise that I'm going to utilize to improve my mobility and improve my strength is going to be an overhead step up, okay? So we've got to think about some unilateral movement, dynamic trunk control, okay? So we got to be more stable overhead, and we're going to drive and use our quads and our glutes. So this is an exercise that we can utilize to improve the drive phase if we're sprinting and just overall stability. Now, I'm going to show you with a step up here on this box. I think it's 18 inches if I'm correct. We can't see anymore. But we're going to utilize this, and I'll show you here overhead. I like to drive all the way up, switch, back up, okay? So I might do 7, 9 reps, somewhere along those lines, okay? And a good replacement to this, if you don't want to use a box, is if you have access to steps. So one thing that I've learned from Brian Seacrest, who's one of the best weightlifting coaches in the country at Vero Beach, he likes to do this with steps, taking big strides. And then you can walk back down and work through this multiple times, okay? One more. So you'll feel that in the mid back. You'll feel that in your abs quite a bit. Quads, calves, and glutes. Do this. I think you could do this as a warm up. I think it's a great exercise to get your heart rate up, feel more mobile. And what I like to do, we did the coordination movements, did that bilateral double bounce front squat. I'm out of breath. We did some unilateral work here. Now I'm going to do some easy mobility strengthening exercises. So some upper body stuff that I want to do to finish off this whole workout. But first, I got to catch my breath. Here's Haley Reichert warming up, one of the most mobile athletes we have here at Garage Strength, and subsequently the strongest. So some coaches believe that athletes should not go past 90 degrees in all their joint angles. But when you look at Haley squat 150 kilos while weighing 50 kilos and snatching a shit ton of weight and clean and jerking well over, what was it? What's your best off the floor? 109? Yeah. 109 kilos, so 240 plus. I think it's okay to be mobile and extremely strong. But Haley doesn't need a mobility strength workout like we're doing today because she actually does her mobility. And that's gonna take us to our next round of exercises. So now I've done the technical coordination, the big front squats, the overhead step ups. I'm gonna finish off this workout with a little triplet, okay? So we're gonna start, this is all upper body work now, because I love to always do upper body work, with rotating kettlebell presses here, okay? Rotate, press, so thoracic rotation. And if you struggle with your upper back and with holding good posture. Maybe you sit at a desk all day. I recommend doing these as a warm-up, doing these 2 to 3 days a week. Nice and easy. Rotate, press, rotate, press. And when you're pressing, try and really fill up your belly here. Fill up your gut, rotate, boom, okay? You're gonna feel that in your upper back. It's gonna feel good in your abs as well. And so I like to do 3 to 4 sets of the rotating kettlebell presses for thoracic rotation. This is a movement that we like to utilize with our discus throwers who placed top 8 at the Olympics 2021. And it's gonna help them catch deeper. With our wrestlers, it's gonna help with getting heavy on the neck, on the head. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go over to our dead hang pull-ups. So the next key factor here is lengthening our lats, okay? Lengthening is strengthening. Think about that. If I can sit here and just sort of pause in the hole. 1, 2, up, boom. Come down. 1, 2, up. Let's do 2 more. Pause, lengthening those lats, lengthening those lats. 1 more. So now we start off rotating kettlebell presses. That's helping with that thoracic rotation. Get into lengthening those lats so we have that good stable position overhead. Finishing off with one of my favorite new bicep exercises. I call it the Simons curl, okay? Named after Kevin Simons, 2-time CrossFit Games competitor, one of the best coaches in the entire country. He's got absolute studs at his gym. So he showed me this for my elbow, which you might have noticed doesn't lock out. And so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna lay back on an elevated bench. So you can put boxes under it. We're fortunate here, picked this up at a yard sale like 10 years ago. We got it refurbished a little bit. And so what we can do with this elevated bench, lay back, and we really wanna think about lengthening that bicep tendon here and then coming up, okay? Oh, this is gonna stretch out your shoulders, your pecs, your elbows, and then give that little squeeze at the top. Give me 2 more. And so one of the big things with Kevin, he's like, all right, work the Simons curl till you're close to real big fatigue, you're really struggling with that supinated grip, because that's really gonna lengthen the tendon. And then as you get fatigued in the supinated grip, change that neutral grip or the hammer grip. You can get a bigger pump from that hammer grip. And one thing for me, because I had that issue in my right elbow, which you might have noticed when I was doing the close grip snatch and when I'm doing my pull-ups, I have really, really bad Lyme disease, okay? So I partially tore my bicep here, and I have horrible Lyme disease that made my elbow super arthritic, okay? So one of the benefits though is doing the Simons curl along with my dead hang pull-ups. It actually feels like, it might be totally anecdotal, but it actually feels like it is lengthening that joint out a little bit. So I've just got to work on that a little bit further. So remember, training mobility is important to increasing overall strength. Lengthening is strengthening. Don't forget that phrase. Utilize all these exercises to try and improve your strength. This is going to lead to drastic improvements in your overall strength while making you more stable in those various positions, and that's going to help you get a ton stronger. So if you want to get bigger, you want to get stronger, and you want to increase your overall mobility, click on the link down below, head over to garagestrength.com, and you can pick up our Mass Builder program so you can get swole and increase your gains overall. If you want more content around sports performance, around increasing your overall strength, click on this card right here. Until next time, guys, peace.